While acknowledging that the ban on Sputnik vaccine was well-informed, KEMSA wants 70,000 Sputnik vaccines currently in store to be administered in a systematic manner to benefit Kenyans before their effectiveness runs out.
1,500 doses are lying at lower-level facility, and it will be important for us to decide what to do with them because they cannot be brought back to the main cold store. We are a bit concerned because if they are at the lower clinics, you can't bring them up for re-export and they might need to be destroyed.
Sentiments echoed by a section of leaders.
Na watu tayari wamedungwa na kila moja aliambiwa atapata vaksini ya pili, chanjo hilo la pili, na uliza serikali wajaribu kuona kuwa watafanya hivyo, kwa sababu makosa kubwa itakuwa ni vibaya kabisa watu kupata chanjo ya kwanza na waje wakose ya pili.
A later meeting between the committee and the Kisumu County government on a special audit of the county's usage of COVID-19 fund failed to take place after the county officials failed to honor the invite, forcing the meeting to be pushed to next week on Tuesday. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Now away from that, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations now claims it has leads into the murder of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation senior video editor Betty Barasa. DCI boss George Kinoti says the homicide detectives are under instruction to bring to book the thugs who brutally murdered Betty 2 weeks ago. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has joined in the calls to bring to justice her killers.
2 weeks after the murder of KBC's senior video editor Betty Barasa and nearly a week after the burial, her killers are still roaming free. Homicide detectives based at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations are yet to make any arrests. But not for long, at least according to DCI boss George Kinoti, who says they have leads that will lead to the arrest of her killers.
What I can assure you is the criminal will not enjoy his freedom for long. That one I can guarantee you. It's for a day or 2 or 3 days, but we are going to go down with the criminal. That one I can promise.
Kinoti, who had called a presser to defend police officers from allegations that they have been renting out their guns to thugs, says the department will ensure justice for the Barasa family.
We acknowledge criminals do. That's why you are supposed to be there to assist us, so that we can ensure that these harms are completely eliminated from the wrong harms.
This even as calls continue to mount on government to reveal the people behind the heinous murder. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, through its Director General Audrey Azoulay, wants investigative agencies to speed up the investigations, saying gunpoint censorship must not be allowed to undermine journalists.
So I don't know which one of these ones is made in Turkey. We did not.
In the meantime, the DCI has absolved the Kenya police from blame after an expose carried by a local media house claiming the police were renting out their guns, uniform and handcuffs to criminals for pay. Kinoti claims the guns in the clips have no government serial numbers and that the expose sought to portray police in bad light.
Which commander can dare cover a police officer who gives a criminal a firearm? A pistol which was presented having been given by the police officers, which is there in your present, in the history of the National Police Service. We have never stocked, charged a firearm. Myself, for over 28 years service, from the time I was put as a recruit constable, I've never seen charge a pistol. I started like a recruit constable to now at the DCI. I've never seen charge a pistol as an issue of a police anywhere.
While admitting that there are rogue officers within the police ranks, Kinoti accuses the local media house of failing to do due diligence in the filing of its report and now wants 2 editorial directors and several journalists working under the said media house to record statements on the same.
There was the need to have sought a response and verification from the government before hearing it. Instead, the Royal Media Group chose to fraternize with it and base its report entirely on the testimony of self-confessed criminals.
Kinoti has attributed the proliferation of AK-47 rifles, which are only used by security officers, to the porous borders of Kenya's north.
And still on COVID-19, 18 people have been reported to have died of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. In the latest update by the Ministry of Health, out of the 18 deaths reported today, 2 occurred in the last 24 hours, while the rest are as a result of late reporting. The total of fatalities now stands at 2,519. The country also recorded 629 new infections Tuesday, bringing to 152,523 total caseload. The positivity rate now stands at 10.8%. So far, 4,698 health workers have contracted COVID-19 in Kenya, while 38 have succumbed to the disease. A total of 4,698 patients are currently admitted in hospital, out of which 251 are in the intensive care unit. In other news, President Uhuru Kenyatta is in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, for a 3-day state visit under the invitation of President Felix Tshisekedi. The Kenya Airways plane carrying the president and his entourage touched down at Njili International Airport in Kinshasa shortly after 3:30 p.m. Central African Time Tuesday. President Kenyatta was officially received at the airport by his host, President Felix Tshisekedi, and accorded a full state reception complete with a guard of honor mounted by a detachment of the Congolese military. Accompanying President Tshisekedi at the airport to receive President Kenyatta were several senior Congolese government officials. Speaking in Kinshasa ahead of President Kenyatta's arrival, Ambassador George Masafo said President Kenyatta's 3-day state visit is aimed at cementing the excellent bilateral ties between Kenya and the DRC through enhanced trade and people-to-people interactions.
So the coming of the president to this country is to strengthen that relationship, especially on the business side. Is to strengthen the relationship between Kenya and the DRC. And you strengthen this relationship through diplomatic relations, through trade relations, through security relations, and through other areas that build both sides. It's a win-win situation.
Kenya, according to the envoy, has strong and historical cultural ties that exist between the people of the sister nation, citing the Congolese rumba music, which has over the years become part of Kenya's dance and entertainment culture.
There's so much to the Congolese culture that we have even forgotten. It's not ours. But that tells you that we are very related, because already culturally we interact with each other. And therefore, putting business now into this relationship will make it much better.
Ambassador Masafo identified aviation, insurance, hospitality, mining and construction as some of the other sectors that present the highest potential for success, and encouraged Kenyan traders to take advantage of direct flights between Nairobi and Kinshasa by the national carrier Kenya Airways to explore business opportunities in DRC Congo.
Export of our coffee, export of our tea, export of our milk, yeah? So, but the services also, if you look at Equity Bank is now the largest bank in DRC. And that's a Kenyan bank. So that's the face of Kenya in DRC. You can see Equity Bank has come as a bank to provide services in the banking. Kenya Airways is here to provide services on the flights. Now, there are people who want to do restaurants, who want to come and put up hotels. It is a vast environment for them. There are those who want to do construction, roads. So it will depend on the speciality of the person when they were coming in here.
As part of the 3-day state visit, President Kenyatta and his host will on Thursday morning lead their respective delegations in bilateral talks on DRC-Kenya relations and witness the signing of several agreements. Later, President Kenyatta is scheduled to preside over the inauguration of the rebranded Equity Commercial Bank of Congo's Equity BCDC office block in central Kinshasa. Kenya's Equity Bank entered the Congolese market in 2015 and has over a short period consolidated its position through mergers and acquisitions to become DRC's second largest bank.
Now, still on matters health, mental illness is taking a toll on many households in Mombasa, with the county indicating that it has rehabilitated over 90 such individuals in the past 20 alone. Authorities in the county are attributing this sad state of affairs to the hard economic times due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our reporter Janae Karisa interacted with some of the patients trying to regain their footing.
Early morning in Utange in Kisauni constituency, boda riders operating the Pendua route were alerted to disturbing scenes of a troubled man en route to work from a nearby residential estate, talking to himself while stripping his clothes. Upon questioning, the man turned violent, pouncing on the charging crowd before engaging them to a cat and mouse game. After a brief tussle, the worried crowd will cover his nakedness with a piece of cloth and alerted authorities for help. A few miles away, a middle-aged man sits alone at the end of the Bamburi bus stage. His audience, a monkey whom he claims to be his beloved friend. His look portrays his lack of grooming, a solitude life that helps him escape the buzzing tide of life. Authorities from a mental health institution attempt to come to his rescue, but first he must be enticed with a cigarette. After a long persuasion, he heeds to the call. The two mirror what a dozen more in Mombasa are going through, many unable to absorb the economic created by the coronavirus pandemic.
Sana tena wale wanaugua ni wasomi, wamesoma. Tuko nao hata wana certificate tukisema tuleta hapa tunazileta, lakini nafasi hawapati. Sasa ndio wanaingilia mambo ya hii group depreciation hizi inakuwa, sasa ndio watoto akili inageuka.
Last year walifika 95 na about 40 wameweza kurudi back kwa familia zao na wanaendelea vizuri kwa sasa. Kwa hivyo tuko na wengine ambao wamebakia ambao mpaka dakika hii hatujapata familia ambao tunaendelea nao.
Reintegration to the community has been a challenge as those seeking to regain footing finding it hard to keep the promise.
Environment pia inachangia, saa nyingine mgonjwa anapona lakini kwa sababu pengine alifanya jambo pale mtaani ambalo si la kawaida anarudiwa tena.
Mtu akisema jitolee huwa ni gharama, ndio wengine wana give up, wanawacha, mtu anateseka. Sasa ile ugonjwa inanea inakuwa chronic ambapo haiwezi kutibia. Kulingana na zile madawa inabidi apate chakula cha kutosha ili aendelee na yale madawa, lakini katika zile family huwa hazijiwezi. Sasa mgonjwa kama yule anakuwa hana usaidizi wote nyumbani na yale maradhi anamrudia.
Ningeomba jamii, endapo mgonjwa atachukuliwa asaidike kimatibabu, akirudi nyumbani asiogopewe kwa sababu pale alipotoka hakutoka bila.
Locals pleading with the government to cushion struggling families with relief incentives if they are to combat the spiking cases of mental illness.
Saizi tunawachukua, tunawapeleka, tuna make arrangement ya kuchukuliwa sample kwa haraka, and then wakishachukuliwa sample hii wiki Mungu akipenda wataweza kupata vaccine, na yule ambaye atakuwa ameathirika tutamtenga kando na wengine tuweze kumisolate.
Tunaomba sana kama serikali yazafika mashinani huku, tukae nao chini tuongee, na kama kuna kazi watupatie pia tuweze kuwa busy pia sisi.
Juni Karisa Mbele for Channel 1 News Hour from Mombasa County.
Police in Kiambu are holding Francis Munyao in connection with the murder of a middle-aged woman in Kambi Moto village of Ruiru. Ruiru Sub-County Police Commander Phineas Ringera said preliminary investigations indicate that Munyao strangled the woman to death in his rented house before fleeing.
A somber mood engulfed Kambi Moto village in Ruiru, Kiambu County Tuesday. This is after a decomposing body of a middle-aged woman was recovered inside a single rental room belonging to a man believed to be her boyfriend. According to neighbors, the slain woman was a frequent visitor at the rental room and was often seen performing domestic chores inside the plot. She was last seen entering the house Sunday afternoon but never left.
Nilikuwa namuona akiingia na kutoka. Yaani mimi simjui sana. Lakini ila naujua kuingia na kutoka, tulikuwa tunapatana hapa nje kama maneiba tunasalimiana. Mimi mama nilikuwa namuona tu anafua nguo anaanika hapa nje. Tunapatana tu hapa nje akianika nguo. Kwa hivyo simjui sana.
It is alleged that the tenant left the house this morning, which means he had spent the night within his house. And it has been confirmed that she was seen on Sunday in the afternoon entering the same house, but was not seen moving out of the house.
The neighbors say the situation was brought to their attention after a foul smell started emanating from the rental room, prompting them to break into the room only to find the decomposing body of a woman wrapped in a nylon polythene paper.
Sababu ya kujua tulikuwa tunaona hizi zinatokea hapa kwa ventilation ya mlango na kwa dirisha kulikuwa na hizi. Hiyo ndio sababu tumejua kama kuna chenye kiko ndani.
Kwa ploti yake kuna inzi kwa mlango. Na wakashuku ni mtu ama kitu mbaya iko kwa hiyo nyumba. Na wakati nilipigiwa simu watu wakachungulia na dirisha wakaona ni kama kuna mtu amefunikiwa na karatasi ya nylon. Hapo niliweza kupigia Ruiru Police Station.
Ruiru Sub-County Police Commander Phineas Ringera says the key suspect Francis Munyao has been arrested and assisting with the investigations.
The tenant, who is already in custody, killed the same tenant, and we are treating it as a murder case, and investigation has been started by the DCIO. We suspect the lady was struggled, but because of the nature of the body the way it is subject to confirmation through the postmortem.
Ningeshauri watu ya kwamba kama ni bibi na bwana ama ni watu wako katika mapenzi yao, ningewaomba kama mmekosa mmefika mahali ya muelewani, afadhali kila mtu ashike njia yake aende akiwa mzima huko.
In Naivasha, residents were treated to a bizarre incident after a middle-aged man attempted to take his life using a broken bottle after his estranged wife rejected his advances for a reunion. Members of the public watched in horror as the 23-year-old picked a broken piece of bottle and slit his throat before collapsing in a pool of blood during the afternoon incident at the main bus terminus.
Ametoka kwa gari mbio, akakuja akagongesha chupa chini, akachukua kichuni upande moja, akajikata.
Lakini wakati amekuja katika town ameamua kama hawataenda naye ajiue.
According to eyewitnesses, the man had traveled from Thika to Naivasha town for a reconciliation talk with his wife.
On that note, we take a short break here on Channel 1 News Hour. Don't go too far. Up next is Scales of Justice. We'll be back in a jiff.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye KITUI ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitazama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye KITUI ni bila bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Next on
namleta mgeni na mpangaji.
Hapana mfanya hivi lakini
kwa leo tu, kesho tutakwenda kutafutia ile nyumba nilokuambia. Asinyesha kutumia huo mzigo. Shukrani sana. Sasa shindwa mwenyewe. Nina store hiyo kama kundalalisha huko, mndalalisha mama. Alafu na wewe kwa nani?
Mimi naitwa Barbara.
Next on
just see me as your family, not just see me as your baby. Nice. Everything alright. Journey, journey, journey to the ends of the earth. But the wisdom never burn that
Welcome back. A family in Kururuma location within Teso North Sub-County is in dilemma over the health of their daughter who is suffering from lymphoma, a cancer of the lymphatic system. Now, the 14-month-old baby has undergone 6 surgeries and is scheduled for a 7th one, but the family, which lives in abject poverty, is struggling to raise enough funds to cater for her medical expenses.
In the company of her husband, Nancy Idion, a blind woman from Kururuma location within Teso North Sub-County, is escorted for yet another visit to the Teso North Sub-County Hospital for a medical checkup for their 14-month-old daughter, who is suffering from lymphoma, a condition that has left her with huge swellings around her neck. It's double tragedy for Nancy, who says it torments her not to be able to see her daughter, who is undergoing so much pain and has even undergone 6 operations and is scheduled for a 7th one.
Sasa mtoto naye nagonjeka kila wakati, naleta mara 6 ya 7 hiyo.
Dr. Mulimo of the Teso North Sub-County Hospital says that they continue to monitor the baby's condition, suggesting that they may refer the patient to the Busia Referral Hospital in case she needs a complicated medical procedure.
First, the procedure that was done was I&B, and at times if you leave a capsule inside, it recurs. So we just want to do an ultrasound to make sure everything is okay. If it will be more than what we can do here, we'll refer the baby to Busia County Referral Hospital.
The family is living in abject poverty and are calling on well-wishers to support them in raising funds to cater for their daughter's medical expenses.
Maisha ni ngumu, hakuna namna yoyote, tunakaa tu maisha mbaya tu. Nimeomba gavana utusaidie ili apate uponyaji, na Mungu naye atambariki.
The baby is currently admitted at the children's ward at Kocholia Referral Hospital in Teso North Sub-County in Busia County. The couple don't have a mobile phone, but well-wishers can reach them through the Teso North Sub-County Commissioner. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Aching Ouma.
127 boys in Nyandarua County were traditionally inducted into adulthood after undergoing an initiation ceremony in line with the Kikuyu culture. The boys, aged between 14 and 15 years, are now prepared to become responsible citizens, having been taken through the importance of abiding by the law.
It was a momentous occasion for 127 boys in Nyandarua County who finally graduated from childhood to adulthood. For 2 weeks, the boys underwent thorough training and coaching, but in accordance with the Kikuyu culture. The boys, aged between 14 and 15 years, had underwent the circumcision rite this year, and here were being told how to become responsible citizens. And after a fortnight, the boys became men in a graduation ceremony that was held at Nyahururu Visions Academy, Old Joro Rock Boarding Primary School, and Maryland Boarding School in Kasoko Trading Center, Oljoro Rock Sub-County.
Ni watu ambao wako na ujuzi ya hali ya juu sana. Kulingana na vile hii vijana mnawaona hapa, na tukiliganisha wa vijana wale tumekuwa nao mwaka ile ingine na wale ingine walitahiri huko nyumbani, kuko na tofauti kubwa sana. Manake hawa wako na watu ambao wanawafundisha hali ya kukaa na mwenendo mzuri katika hali ya dunia.
Bye. Nakupatia certificate hii.
The head of Kiama Kiama, a group of Gikuyu elders, Mudhamaki Dominic, held the event, terming it special, even as he reiterated the importance of upholding culture.
Wakafunzwa vile wanaweza kuwa watiifu kwa wazazi wao, watiifu kwa serikali, na waachane na mambo yale mabaya kama ufutaji wa sigara, bangi, hata kutumia madawa ya kulevya, hata kuwa na ulevi wa kupindukia.
Kiama Kiama elders say that they will focus at ensuring there is no moral decadence amongst the youth in the near future.
Hawa wamefunzwa hata wakiwa shuleni wazuie mambo ya kuwa na migomo, wani watu wamekomaa na wasome na bidii, na baadaye watakuwa viongozi wamekomaa katika nchi yetu.
The age group has been nicknamed Barakoa, a Swahili word for face mask, given that the ceremony was held amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Rika hili la Barakoa limeitwa namna hiyo kwa sababu walitahiri wakati kila mtu katika Kenya alikuwa anaombwa afae barakoa kuzuia ugonjwa wa COVID-19.
Huku kwa wazee ni kuzuri kwa sababu wanakupa nasaha na wanakuelekeza vizuri na wanahakikisha uko sawa na unapewa chakula ya kutosha na malazi bora. Vizuri tumesoma kuhusu culture yetu na sote tumefurahia.
Timothy Kipnusu, Channel 1 News.
And now on to news making headlines in various counties. A 2-year-old girl has died while her 17-year-old cousin is nursing injuries after a known assailant raped and poisoned them in Thitha Mwingi Central Sub-County of KITUI County. The assailant is said to have broken into their home before committing the heinous act. More of this in the county roundup.
According to the victim, a 17-year-old Form 2 student, the attackers choked her till she became unconscious and suspect she was defiled while unconscious. Their mother allegedly rushed the duo to hospital, but the young one succumbed before they got to the health facility.
Asubuhi saa 11, msichana akaniita, akaniambia kuna mtu aliingia kwa nyumba, akawarip na akawapea ndawa, lakini hiyo ndawa nilisikia ikinuka. Ni hiyo ndawa alipewa ilimzidi, sumu ilinjaa kwa mwili.
Elsewhere in Nakuru, residents of Sinendet area in Njoro took to the streets protesting the illegal arrest of a middle-aged man on Monday by police. According to the residents, David Masharia was hauled out of his house on accusations that he led a mob in killing a notorious thief in the area. Police from Njoro arrested Masharia on grounds that he murdered the deceased Kimani Mukosoe through mob justice.
Tunataka haki yetu ili tujue kwa nini huyu mtu mmoja ameshikwa na ni mtu hana mama yake, hana baba yake, hana mahali pa kwenda, ameshikiwa nini, na huyu hali mwizi anashikwa akiwachiliwa. Tunataka haki yetu, serikali tusaidie.
Still in Nakuru, Kaila Raha, who emerged among the top 10 performers in the county in this year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, believes she will attain her desire to join Alliance Girls High School. The 13-year-old girl who wrote her KCPE examinations at St. George's Grassland Academy within Bahati Sub-County and scored 417 hopes to join Harvard University after secondary education and pursue a course in law.
For the last 5 years, it's boys who have been topping in our schools, and so I wanted to change that. And this time KCPE, it's the girls who have led, and the top 5 in our class are girls.
In the meantime, twins from Moranga Miriam Target Academy Primary are among the top performers in the just released KCPE results. With over 400 marks, the boys emerged top in the county.
Tumekuwa na changamoto hapa na pale. Wakati mwingine wana compete, Kefas anashindwa anadefitiwa na Brian, lakini sisi hatujawahi kuwaweka chini. We have been encouraging them. Tumekuwa tukiwa encourage kila wakati, tunawaambia wewe next time utaweza hivyo na tumeshukuru Mungu.
And Baringo South Member of Parliament Charles Kamuren has called on the government to investigate and arrest leaders funding banditry, which has caused mayhem in Baringo. Speaking in Marigat, Kamuren alleged that banditry and insecurity was being funded by a section of leaders from TRT.
The government should take the action necessary because they have the systems. They know who are behind this thing. This is not normal one. The suppliers of the bullets, the suppliers of guns, these ones are people who are known. So they should come in, do what they know as government, and make sure that people will have peace.
Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Channel 1 News.
Chad President Idris Deby is dead. In a statement televised on the state television, Army spokesperson General Azemba Mandor said the President Deby died following injuries suffered on the front line in the Sahel countries north, where he had gone to visit soldiers battling rebels. The announcement came a day after provisional election results projected he would win his sixth term in office. His 37-year-old son, Muhammad Idris Deby, a four-star general, has been named the interim head of state.
The 68-year-old former Chad head of state had just won his sixth term in office after taking 79.3% of the vote in the April 11th presidential elections, as per provisional results declared on Monday. The then president postponed his victory speech and instead chose to go command his army on the weekend as it battled against rebels who had launched a major incursion into the north of the country on election day. The rebel group Front for Change and Concord, in charge which is based across the northern frontier with Libya, attacked a border post in the provinces of Tibetsi and Kanem on election day and then advanced hundreds of kilometers south. Following his death, the government and parliament have been dissolved. A curfew has also been imposed and the borders have been shut. Some foreign embassies in the capital and N'Djamena have urged their staff to leave. Deby spent 3 decades in power and was one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. The late president's son, 37-year-old Muhammad Idris Deby, is set to take over after being named the interim head of state. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
And now in the world of business, Chase Bank depositors are set to receive 500,000 shillings as liquidation process begins. The Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation says depositors of the bank that was placed under administration in 2016 will become the first beneficiaries of the enhanced insured deposit as creditors wait.
Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation has begun to process payment of the remaining Chase Bank depositors as the liquidation of the lender commences. This comes 4 days after the Central Bank of Kenya approved the liquidation of the bank. The decision was arrived at after CBK received a report from the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation revealing the weak financial status of the bank. In a statement, KDIC says depositors of Chase Bank in liquidation will become the first beneficiaries of an enhanced insured deposit of a maximum payment of 500,000 shillings. On Friday last week, CBK reported that a total of 162,970 deposit accounts equivalent to 97% of the depositors have already been paid. The receiver further says it will release additional information on the liquidation and payment to depositors in due course. The bank has been in receivership since 2016 when KDIC was appointed as the receivership manager by CBK following a report recommending immediate liquidation of the lender. KDIC has been managing 25% of the value of deposits, other assets and liabilities after Mauritius-based lender SBM Bank acquired 75% of the value of Chase Bank deposits along with other assets in 2018.
Kenya is staring at a severe food shortage, with key food basket counties facing low production and insufficient rainfall. Farmers in North Rift have seen production drop by more than 40% this year due to poor rainfall and impact of COVID-19. Early this month, the government reported that 1.4 million Kenyans are facing starvation due to food shortages.
According to the Ministry of Agriculture, projected annual production of maize last year was 43.2 million bags, leaving the country with a deficit of almost 5 million bags. However, the country failed to achieve this target, with production falling to 41.5 million bags, resulting in a shortfall of 5.5 million bags. Early this month, government spokesperson Colonel retired Cyrus Oguna said that majority of those facing starvation are in Garissa, Isiolo, Mandera, Turkana, Wajir, Marsabit and Tana River counties, where the Met Department has predicted below average to no rain.
Mafuno yanayoenda chini tukilinganisha na mwaka ambayo imekuwa tukifuna. Kwa hivyo kama wakulima tunaona tu hali ya hatari.
Farmers in food-rich counties of Uasin Gishu and Trans Nzoia have also decried low maize production, saying output has dropped by more than 40% last season.
Ile mbegu tumenunua na mbolea ambayo tumeweka chini, tuko worried kwa sababu tunajua ya kwamba hiyo ikiisha tutatafuta njia nyingine ya kupanda na hatuna pesa tena. Ekonomi ya nchi imeenda mbaya, hatuna njia ya kufanya kitu chochote.
The government says it will open the borders for import of more maize from Uganda and Tanzania, as well as other COMESA countries like Malawi and Zambia. The prevailing maize shortage has led to spike in the retail prices of maize flour, with leading retailers adjourning their prices to above 100 shillings for a 2-kilo packet. Terry Njenga, Channel 1 Business.
In other news, Kenya Revenue Authority has said it will retain the already paid minimum tax as a credit in taxpayers' iTax ledger, pending the outcome of the case filed by the Kenya Bars Association. The High Court yesterday suspended the implementation of the minimum tax pending outcome of a case filed by Baonezing Kitengela.
The minimum tax, which came into force on 1st January 2021, required businesses to pay the tax in installments, which shall be due on the 20th day of each period. Already, some businesses had begun paying the installments, with the first payment due today. The Kenya Revenue Authority, through a statement, says it will comply with the conservatory orders suspending the implementation of the minimum tax pending the outcome of the case filed by the Kenya Bars Association. KRA will, however, retain the already paid minimum tax as a credit in taxpayers' iTax ledger. The tax collector has also sought for an early hearing date before the second installment becomes due. The High Court sitting in Machakos on Monday barred KRA from implementing Section 12D of the Income Tax Act, which gives the tax collector powers to collect a minimum tax from businesses at the rate of 1% of gross turnover. This even as the Kenya Association of Manufacturers backed the conservatory orders, as businesses are still reeling from the effects of COVID-19. The case is expected to be heard on the 19th of May this year, where the two parties are expected to argue their case before Justice Odunga.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya joking kwa simu yako, bonyeza star 811 star 758 hash. Good morning, class. Good morning, Mr. Tito. Now I want to try the composition using the word jogging. Teacher, please give us spelling for the word jogging. Sitasema jog ile au jog ile jog ya kunyongwa. Hapana. Ninasema jogging. Na sijasema jog ile ndio unasema jog ya kukimbia ya marathon ama ile jog nyingine ile jog ya television ya kucheka. Sijasema hiyo jogging na maanisha jogging ya brand ile kukimbiza akili cha changamoto. Data composition using the word jogging. Ili kupata skiza tune hii bonyeza *811 *758 hash *811 *758 hash.
And in the sports arena, the national women's volleyball team MALKIA strikers have received technical coaches from Brazil who will assist the team in preparing for the Tokyo Olympics. This is part of the FIVB empowerment program in collaboration with Kenya Volleyball Federation and Olympics Kenya.
The coaches who are in Kenya for the scoping phase of the project will work with the team until the end of the month. They are here to observe the current situation of the team and how the coaches work with them. The objective is to assist the only African representative in the Olympics to improve the technical performance of the national team and its performance beyond Tokyo in order to change global perception of Africa women volleyball at the global stage. The coaches include Loizoma Dimura, Jefferson Arotsi, Marcelo Vitorino and Roberto Neto. The MALKIA Strikers coaches, led by head coach Paul Bitok, will also take part in the project as an empowerment program for the coaches as well. 16 Kenyan players and coaches will travel to Brazil in the beginning of May for a 45-day training camp and competition.
Reigning Kenyan champions GSU advanced to the quarterfinals of the ongoing Africa Men's Volleyball Club Championship after trouncing SPURS of the Democratic Republic by 3 straight sets in Tunisia. Now the paramilitary side easily won the first set 25-11 before bagging the second set 25-14. GSU won the third set 25-12 to confirm their place at the knockout stages. The Kenyan champions lost the opening match to powerhouse Zamalek before humbling Nigeria Customs by 3 sets to win in the second group match. Kenya Ports Authority also advanced to the quarterfinals after humbling Kinzo of Burundi by 3 straight sets. Kenyan rally driver Hussein Malik is looking forward to the return of the WRC Safari Rally Kenya with great expectations. Malik will be using these weekend's FIA Africa Rally Championship EQUATOR Rally to fine-tune his Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10 well in time for the WRC, which will be returning to Kenya after an 18-year hiatus.
Malik has had vivid memories of the safari from running a winning Mitsubishi Evolution 6 car, previously driven by Azhar Anwar, to an early encounter with the iconic event. Malik participated in the first rally that was in Nakuru County in February, but unfortunately retired with mechanical problems.
We've tried to do everything that we can on the car. We've worked on the suspension and everything. So we feel like we are ready for the ARC. And yet again, we're still building the car towards the WRC. So this is just all going to be like a learning process for us with the car and everything as we perfect it for the WRC.
Malik says that after Nakuru, they have redone the suspensions of the car and everything else required, and they are now ready for the ARC. The driver admits this weekend will be a learning process as they look forward to make their debut in the WRC in June.
It's been tough for everyone. It's been tough on the economy. I know for this ARC we would have had the likes of up to 60, 70 drivers, but as you can see we have only 35 drivers, but which is still not a bad number. We're happy to have even 35 cars. In regards even to the COVID, even with the COVID there, and we've got 35 cars, that's a good number for us.
The Equator Rally will use 6 stages from the grueling WRC Safari route. The 6R Elementator, Soisambo, Sleeping Warrior, Loldia, Malewa and Kedong. WRC Safari stages omitted from Equator's 2-day schedule are Kasarani Super Special Stage, Oserian and Hell's Gate Wolf Power Stage.
Cricket Kenya's Normalization Committee has called on interested members of the public to submit memoranda to facilitate the finalization of a new constitution. The committee will accept all memoranda and suggestions on improving the state of cricket in Kenya until the 11th of May.
The Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Ambassador Amina Mohamed, on the 16th of March this year, appointed the Cricket Kenya Normalization Committee to oversee the restoration of normalcy in the sport. The committee, that is chaired by Lady Justice retired Joyce Aluoch, is tasked with ensuring that the Cricket Kenya Secretariat is operational, national teams prepare for scheduled competitions, and a new constitution is drafted and adopted before a new board is elected.
Now, since inauguration, the committee has reviewed existing documents, mapped stakeholders, met the Cricket Kenya members of staff, identified upcoming events for our national teams, established a secretariat and facilitated vaccination of the national team players. The committee has now begun the process of engaging Cricket Kenya's key stakeholders.
The committee has reviewed documents from the body and met with relevant parties, and the next task is to draft a constitution that complies with the Sports Act and International Cricket Council. The Normalization Committee is expected to finish its mandate by the first week of August this year after conducting elections for a new Cricket Kenya board.
Ryan Mason has been appointed as Tottenham's new interim manager following Jose Mourinho's sacking on Monday. Mourinho was relieved of his duties at Spurs after 17 months in charge, just 6 days before he was due to oversee the team's appearance in the 2020-2021 Carabao Cup final.
Mason, who had been serving as the club's head of player development, will now be tasked with delivering their first major trophy since 2008 and will see out the remainder of the season before a new permanent boss is appointed over the summer. Mourinho was initially brought in to bring Spurs' long wait for major silverware to an end, and although he would have a chance to deliver a trophy on Sunday, the board decided to make an early change after the team's poor run of results. Mourinho slipped out of contention for the Premier League title after a festive period and exited the FA Cup at the 5th round stage before falling victim to a stunning upset at the hands of Dynamo Zagreb in the Europa round of 16. Mourinho saw his side held to a 2-2 draw by Everton in his final game in charge, which left Spurs sitting 7th in the Premier League and 5 points adrift to the top 4 with only 6 games left to try and qualify for the Champions League. Daniel Mwendwa for Channel 1 Sports.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Well, thank you for keeping us company here on KBC Channel 1 News Hour. My name is Jacky. Wambiru, sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. Up next is Yusufara with the weather updates. Have a good night.
It's
It's another one of those nights where rainfall is expected in several parts of the country, with strong southeasterly winds of up to 25 knots blowing over the county of Turkana. Kericho is the coldest, with temperatures over there dropping to 11 degrees Celsius. Good evening. Welcome to your Channel 1 weather update. My name is Yusuf Farah. Now, tomorrow morning, the capital city wakes up to partly cloudy conditions, light rains accompanied by sunny intervals. The same weather patterns expected in areas of Machakos, Makindu, Kitui and Voi. Showers accompanied by sunny intervals in the coastal region. Chances of rain accompanied by sunny intervals in the northeastern region. In the afternoon, showers accompanied by thunderstorms in areas of Kisumu, Kitale, Kericho, Eldoret and its environs. Showers accompanied by sunny intervals in the northeastern region. The coastal region, showers accompanied by sunny intervals, with the exception of Mombasa, where sunny intervals are expected. As far as the temperatures are concerned, highs of 34, lows of 24 in Mandera. Garissa, highs of 37, lows of 24, and Nairobi, highs of 25 and lows of 16. On that note, I complete your local weather focus. Many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, do have yourselves a lovely night.